What up, what up, what up? Hey guys, it's Richie Rich. Good to be back, and of course, good to be back. And folks, on this episode of Reactions, this one I want to take a detour, and it's actually a video I wanted to do a while ago, and it was like probably one of like the biggest rivals of like you could say late 80s or early mid 90s. Of course, it's the rivalry between Jean-Claude Van Damme and out for Justice, Steven Seagal. So on this one, we're gonna react to. Gonna react to a couple of videos of Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme, like talking about. As it's widely been known that I believe these two didn't really get along. There was actually an idea for these two to star in a movie, which was Demolition Man, which actually went to Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. And what's cool about these two guys is they're both different martial artists. Steven Seagal with the Aikido, Jean-Claude Van Damme with the Karate, and they both came up at the same time when Jean-Claude Van Damme was making big hits with Universal Soldier, Hard Target, Nowhere to Run, and on Steven Seagal on the other side had such classes you could even watch today as Above the Law, Marked for Death, which is one of my favorite, Out for Justice, and of course Under Siege. So they really grew to prominence around the same time, similar in the 80s where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone came out on this time. We're gonna definitely go into these videos. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and definitely check me out on my social media below. With that being said, let's get on to this video. First one, folks, let's go this one. First one's actually a clip from a documentary show called The Boys, where this gentleman would go to like, I don't know if it was just martial artists, but he would go to these public figures and have a sit down interview. So this is the one where he had the interview with Steven Seagal, and Seagal talks of his true opinions of Jean-Claude Van Damme and the other martial artists. Let's check it out.
Who's the most legitimate Hollywood tough guy in your opinion? You accept it, of course.
When you say tough guy, do you mean martial artist or just tough guy?
I mean, Stephen, for real. If he was on the street and there was a situation, you wanted this Hollywood guy by your side because he could defend himself.
It's
that hard to think of a legit one?
Can you think of one?
Michael Jai White.
Can I laugh in your face?
Really?
Yes.
Thoughts on Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Can I laugh in your face?
Chuck Norris?
I mean, Chuck is in his mid-70s. He's probably 76.
Right, so he just mentioned Michael J. White. If you don't know, he is a well-renowned martial artist. Most people probably know him from the Black Dynamite movie. I first saw Michael J. White in, it was either the Spawn 97 film, or it was he appears as Gamble in the Dark Knight. And yeah, has a lot of credibility as being like a true martial artist and a true tough guy. So when Steven Seagal saying that, I'm like, really? Because Michael J. White is in like peak physical condition even for his age. So I'm really surprised he would say that. And he even said the same thing for Van Damme. Like, can I laugh in your face? Let's continue.
Years old, okay? 75, 76 years old.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I've heard that he's not, you know. So, I mean, I don't really want to get into, on film anyway, you know, who's a tough guy. Do I think Michael is a tough guy? No. Do I think he's a martial artist? No. Do I think Jean-Claude's a tough guy or martial artist? No.
If you were to put together your own...
all right. As much as I love Steven Seagal, I've got to disagree with him here. Like, I believe because Viking Samurai, who 100% I'm gonna tag him. I love his channel so much. He did a background on Van Damme, and other martial artists have come on to talk about him. That Van Damme he had a kickboxing run before he actually broke into the movie. So I believe he's credited with at least like 19 or 20 matches, and with one loss. So Not saying he was like he could have been in the MMA, but he does have an actual professional background. So I'm seeing when Steven Seagal is saying this. I think because again, Van Damme was the real threat him at the time, because at the time when Seagal was there, it was really only Schwarzenegger and Stallone who came out a generation before. They weren't martial artists; they were just tough, strong, muscular guys. But Van Damme was the only credible martial artist who was really doing good in motion pictures. That's like our boy Steven Seagal. Let's continue. So, this next one is one that has been flowing on YouTube forever. It's the Arsenio Hall appearance where Steven Seagal came to promote Out for Justice. I believe this was his third. Above the Law, Hard to Kill. This would have been his fourth film at the time, and Arsenio Hall actually asked Seagal, the other martial artist, and included Van Damme. Let's check it out.
A lot of action adventure stars popping out of the woodwork. Do you go watch the other guys? What do you think of Jeff Speakman or Van Damme? Do you know Van Damme?
No.
Look at Steven Seagal's face when Arsenio Hall mentions Van Damme. He's just, who are you talking about?
You've heard of him? Let's start with him, Steven. What do you think of his work? As a martial artist first.
Change the subject.
Well, I mean, because like you guys go back to the martial arts world before you were movie stars, right? I mean, he was like a champion somewhere, and right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm not sure if Van Damme was a champion, but he had a martial arts background before they came to Hollywood. I believe for Seagal, correct me if I'm wrong, he was judo in Japan, then he came to America, and he had his own dojo before he got before they actually put him down to have his own lead as in Above the Law as Nico Above the Law. So he was that, and Van Damme was in Belgium, and then he came to the States in the 80s. So they came around the same time, but I was not impressed.
Well, I mean, I just promised all my mentors that I was going to be a good boy. I think that that's a matter of opinion, that he was a champion anywhere. And I mean, I'm not being catty or anything. I wish the guy all the best. But there are an awful lot of people who say that that's not true.
how about Jeff Speakman? Nice guy, huh?
I was very good friends with his teacher. Ed Park was a good friend of mine, and he seems like a real good guy. This kid, I've never met him, but
Would have been very interesting if Van Damme and Seagal had appeared in Demolition Man, because at that time in 1993 they were at their prime, so it would have been really cool. As you saw Van Damme and Schwarzenegger and Stallone appear, but again that was very late into their careers. It would have been nice to see a prime Seagal versus a prime Van Damme. You can see from this interview with Arsenio Hall that just the mention of Van Damme's name, it was just like, yeah, I understand, because he was main competition at this time. Continue. So this one, I believe, was when Steven Seagal was working for police, the unit. I think it was the sheriff, lawman. I would put the series in there like a reality show.
That's where I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme fall off a motorbike here, going about 6 miles an hour. Must have had 40 aides helping him. Is that true? He got in a fight with you?
No. It'd be like me squashing an ant.
I don't remember where. I don't know if it was the Inquirer, but I remember reading something about that.
Come on.
You, Larry?
Oh, he said he did like a spinning double twist kick
double
or some
kick.
shit.
It's like one in front of it. If he sees me, he runs.
Well, he said that he whooped some mosquito ass or something. I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah, it is actually been told, you'll probably see this later, that it was confirmed that I believe Segal and Van Damme did have an altercation at one point and did have a fight. I believe it was at Sylvester Stallone's party, but we're gonna go more into this. But I'm gonna give my true thoughts at the end of who do I think could win. But yeah, again, you could just see, just like in the Arsenio Hall video, you could see Segal's reaction of just mention of Wham Bam Van Damme.
Very nice, very nice.
What about Steven Seagal?
Can you tell Steven Seagal?
Steven Seagal.
Okay, okay.
This is exactly how Segal works. If you see him when just watch him when he enters his talk shows or he has this very because Segal's a big guy. He's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", and he has just this very Steven Seagal walk. Just go and I'm just taking the Mickey. So this is one Van Damme on promoting Expendables 2. It wasn't in the first one, but he appeared as the main antagonist in the second one.
I think Steven Seagal has such a good presence.
Well, there's a rumor.
And there's a rumor, okay. And he should lose some weight, which is not that difficult. And I think he's got lots of charisma. Even though sometimes he speaks bad about me, it's all bullshit. I think he's a nice guy.
Out there.
Right.
Are there any guys, for example, Steven Seagal, maybe Kurt Russell, who you'd love to see in part 3?
I would love to see a Steven Seagal in part 3. He should lose some weight. So no, joke on the side.
Yeah.
So he can be a little more fast.
He's put on the pounds.
And met the guy a few times. He's a nice guy. Doesn't like me much. I like him a lot. Good guy. Good charisma. He's got something special on the screen. I would love to see him there. Yeah.
Why doesn't he like you?
Because maybe I'm good.
You could see just a complete contrast there where Van Damme is talking about Segal, but he seems very happy. Van Damme, I think one of the big differences between the two is Segal has charisma, but it's more that serious tone, whereas Van Damme is more light-hearted. He's like the guy you could have a drink with, just very, very chill guy. And here it was saying, because if you look at Segal now to when he was in his heyday, a lot of weight. I don't know what the reason is, but he's, oh my gosh, yeah, he's huge. But I believe he was contacted to appear in, if it wasn't the second one, the third Expendables, where they got all the action stars of the back of the day, and everyone appeared, from Harrison Ford to new ones like Jason Statham, Scott Adkins. Segal was the only big action star who never appeared. So it could be because maybe Van Damme was tied to it. Don't know, but yeah, Van Damme was saying he would love to, if maybe not even work with this, but love to have a collaboration. He seems more open to it than of Steven Seagal. Let's check out this one.
Il raconte que tu te serais engueulé très très fort avec Steven Seagal dans sa villa à Miami.
Non, pas engueulé. Il y a une petite poussette alors pour pas, parce qu'il y avait une belle maison Stallone, il y avait des meubles et tout bien. Et puis j'étais un peu fâché, j'ai dit à Steven, je t'attends dehors.
Ah oui.
Parking, voilà.
Et vous êtes...
Non, ça a pris 2 heures, il n'est pas
Il est pas venu.
Bon,
je t'attends.
Oui,
mais enfin j'ai pas
non,
envie de
c'est
venir.
pas ça, il était un peu grossier, il a fait une remarque tout à fait...
Déplacé.
Ouais, moi je suis pas...
Moi je trouve que quand t'es chez Stallone et que tu vois...
This is was at the Stallone's mansion. So this is the party. Again, no photos or no videos were taken. But Van Damme challenged Segal to a fight, and allegedly Segal never showed up. He never wanted none of Van Damme.
Vandal et Steven Seagal qui sont à 2 doigts de se foutre sur la gueule, ça doit être étonnant. Hein, quand t'es dans la maison à ce moment-là.
Tu ranges les meubles. Hein.
Tu prends ton caméscope et tu fais un film. Hein, attention.
Il y a Stallone qui a dit I'm not going Australia, you're fucking crazy, I'm gonna go fucking fly there. So il a dit ça, tu sais, il va pas dehors, moi je vais pas le faire et tout. Yeah, something like that. What's your name? Sebastian? Yeah, we're going fucking sure. Yeah. Hi kids.
Right, so these couple videos are when Van Damme appeared on Arsenio Hall. It must have been when he was promoting either Lionheart in 99 or either Soldier. No, Soldier came in 99, so it must have been Lionheart. It's funny because the filmography from both the two Segal and Van Damme, sometimes I get mixed up, but I'll definitely put...
Yes, I learned that at the sushi restaurant. Japanese, you know? I know Japanese. I spent lots of time with Steven Seagal. He showed me how to, you know?
You don't know Steven Seagal.
No. I would love to know him, you know.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Serious. We're doing a show here.
I don't want to be around when y'all meet now.
Like I told you guys, I run too fast.
Okay. Alright, when Van Damme says that, it was really great. Again, you can see Van Damme is just more lighthearted. He's the complete contrast to Segal. When he's there, again, of course, I think he had met Segal a couple of times, but he doesn't know him, they're not buddies. But, what was it? Van Damme, I know he's in these interviews when he talks about Steven Seagal, he always mentioned that he runs faster. And I believe he alludes it to, again, it's a joke that's been made about Steven Seagal's whole career. Steven Seagal runs like a girl. There's many videos of Steven Seagal's running style, Above the Law, Marked for Death, even in Out for Justice. So I think Van Damme was making a little sly dig of Seagal's like running style, and we're gonna see him say this again.
I have a call for Jean-Claude.
Oh, Steven Seagal? Somehow, I doubt it.
So this one is when he's on Letterman promoting one of my favorite Van Damme films. I recently watched it again. It's Time Cop that came out in 1994, which still to this day is the highest grossing Van Damme movie at the moment. So that's to this day. So yeah, again, Letterman brings up Segal, and listen to Van Damme's fourth here.
They're great people. What about Steven Seagal? Great. Steven Seagal does he do what you do essentially? Is he a martial arts?
Yeah, different type of martial arts. Aikido. You do stuff with his hands.
Who's tougher, you or he?
I run faster.
Yeah.
But if
he said it again. This is the second time he said like he runs faster, and I keep saying he's making a joke to Steven Seagal's awful running style. Let's continue.
he were here right this very minute, and we said, okay, you're going to fight it out right here, who would win?
You'll have to ask him.
No, I mean, he ain't here.
Okay.
You can relax, he ain't here.
I don't know. Let's ask the audience. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I know my stuff. It's like, yeah, you're a bad guy. It's like I'm saying between you and Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Who will...
A martial artist. But again, you can see Van Damme is very humble. He's like, I don't really know who would win this fight. I'm not sure. I think Seagal's force would be very different. As he's like, can I laugh in your face? Alright, and on this last clip, I'm gonna be showing you when Van Damme was promoting, came out early 90s. If you haven't seen this, another one of my favorite Van Damme flicks, he played the Boulevards. I believe the Arsenio one I showed before, he was there promoting that. So again, I'm gonna put all the information of all these. This one out, okay?
Trying to change the subject away from Double Impact, which by the way opened August 9th, I inquired about Steven Seagal, his main competition in the martial arts film arena.
I would love to have more competition. We need more people like them. Please send me more. Send me more. Send me more. Because more people like Arnold and Stallone into my life help me, because I can compete with them, I can train, I want to do better movies. We need more people like them.
Next came the problem of being out in public and encountering tough guys who want to fight.
You have to make yourself available to the public. And if something happened one day, you know what? I run very fast. And if not, I'll call Steven Seagal. He'll help me.
And finally, regarding box office appeal, I asked him about the fact...
So here you say, see, that's the first time he mentioned about like running fast. And he alluded to, he mentioned Steven Seagal again. But notice in the beginning, he more mentioned Schwarzenegger and Stallone, because they were the ones who really opened the door for action stars. Because there's been action stars through history, but these were the ones who had these kind of mainstay names like Arnold and Stallone. And as I said, I keep saying this: Van Damme and Seagal both broke out in the same time. Coincidence? I think not. But they both rose to prominence within the same exact time. And I'm not saying they fell off like in the mid 90s, as I was talking about before in 1996. Their career started to go in this. It wasn't like the big blockbusters, big opening weekend movies. They went more into this. They really went to DVDs. They went to straight to DVD movies like by the end of the 90s. So yeah, they both started at the same time and they both fell off at the same time, which is interesting. But here you can see that I believe Van Damme has more respect for Segal than Segal has for Van Damme. So yes, guys, this is again really. I think these two really works best. I really enjoyed doing this reaction modes because again, I was actually going to do a real long full breakdown of these two because what was funny was I remember during the COVID, I actually went back and watched a lot of their movies, especially the early ones like Segal and Van Damme's early movies are fantastic. They started around the same time and they sort of finished around the same time, but yeah, I think that both careers are great. Who do I think who would win a fight of Van Damme and Segal? For someone who's not a martial artist, I have practiced just capoeira and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I'm no trained martial artist by any time. But I'm someone who can appreciate the art and the discipline of martial arts. But from seeing them both fight and like their battles on screen, I would have to go with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I just think Van Damme just looked more physically like ready for battle. Like if you see his fights, like definitely if you haven't seen, watch Double Impact. The fight with Bolo Young near the end. I'm just imagining if Steven Seagal's there with the Aikido martial arts. I don't think that would be enough to put Van Damme down. And then was just like at the peak of human physical condition. And I just love Van Damme's personality more. Like Segal, if you do type him on Google or YouTube, he has a lot of hate from a lot of like advice on set. He's had people say nasty things about him. Some people say he's lazy and against the weight. So he has a lot of going against him than where Van Damme was very likable and he was there saying, yeah, I can come in and defend the rules. Seagal should come and join with. Seagal is more different. But again, it's just, I think the two different personalities, that's why it makes them great and that's why they're still legends now. But I would say overall, Van Damme is the better of the two. I love Seagal. As much as I love that he's a different version than Van Damme. He stands out. And as I said, his early run of his movies were fantastic. So yeah, folks, let me know what you think of these videos. Let me know what your overall opinions of Wham Bam Van Damme versus Steven Seagal for just who do you think would win with better fights? I'm also gonna link a Viking Samurai's video because he interviewed the the director who collaborated with Van Damme, Sheldon Lettich, and he gave his opinion of who would win this battle as well. As folks, thank you for taking time and your busy. I'm in busy schedule to reaction video on Van Damme versus Steven Seagal. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and if you haven't already, you know what time it is. Get your paper right, your wallet.